Situated at the southern part of Cebu is Barangay Colon of Naga City, a suburban area where locals have created a community with different cultures and livelihood. It is one of 27 barangays in the city consisting of 24 poroks. Based on a 2015 survey, there are approximately 4,476 people who reside in the barangay, garnering 4.86% of Naga City's entire population. The name Colon was coined years ago from con, which was a common cooking pot locals from the barangay used to make a livelihood out of creating baterol, banga, and misitasan. While Colon is considered a rural area, people don't actually rely on agriculture for their livelihood. Instead, workers are likely to have gone through engineering courses because of the numerous industries being erected in the area. The economy prospered, but because of the COVID-19 pandemic, workers had to reduce their working hours or entirely get retrenched.
In order to preserve the barangay from possible threats, we encourage the people from our society to cooperate and follow all the guidelines in order for our environment to maintain its clean and safe surroundings. We should use and dispose of harmful materials properly. Don't dump hazardous waste on the ground. A number of products used at home contain hazardous or toxic substances that can contaminate the ground or surface waters, such as motor oil, pesticides, leftover paints or paint cans, mothballs, flea collars, household cleaners, a number of medicines. Don't overuse pesticides or fertilizers. Many fertilizers and pesticides contain hazardous chemicals. Do not litter, as it leads to pollution to our air and water. It is also important to keep our community clean so that humans, animals, and plants are not exposed to pollutants that can harm them. If we don't have a clean environment, then pollution can spread and nature will be impacted. A clean environment is essential for healthy living. The more you don't care about our environment, the more it will become polluted with contaminants and toxins that have harmful impact on our health.
Colon's beauty is not limited to what can only be seen with our eyes. This rising, bustling barangay has more to offer than its industrial landscape. More than the hotel and power plant situated in Colon, it boasts astonishing beliefs and enriching traditions that help shape the barangay's culture and identity. These stories have been passed on from generation to generation and have ultimately molded the beliefs of the people of Colon. Other countries may also claim their fair share of hair-raising thrillers. However, what sets ours apart is the way it has been fully incorporated in our values and behavior. From aswang manananggal to diwata and mangkukulam, Philippine mythology is indeed both rich and spine-chilling. Similar to what can apply to most barangays in the city of Naga, the people in Colon have a deep-rooted history with mythical creatures. One of the earliest stories to where these beings started to surface in the barangay was a couple that moved from another town. There, near their house, they gathered the creatures which are believed to be the cause of the several kinds to exist and multiply in the community. Seemingly enough, more stories like these surfaced and came up. In the remote localities, among the collection of trees, one tamarind tree stood out and was known to be the palace of these supernatural beings. The locals would describe them as di tao, di ungo. This tree would light up luminously when there was a full moon. Another ancient story revealed that the mountain in Colon was named Teru, and below it was a cave referred to as Kabaang. The ancestors would casually borrow plates and other items, and the creatures would lend them. These muebles or furniture would be used in social events such as gatherings, weddings, and fiestas. Due to some getting lost or not returned, the creatures refused to let them borrow anything ever again. Inevitably, the locals started to wonder and question if these beings would cause any harm. Nonetheless, more people contested this idea, for a story of a fisherman caused a lot of controversy and disarray in this once peaceful barangay. One day, a man was able to get hold of a pearl as big as an eye of a fish. This slowly rose to fame as the fisherman's life was changed anew. Fishing became easier, for shoals of fish would voluntarily go near his proximity. However, there was a catch. His healthy child suffered from a sudden, mysterious death. The child fell into the depths of the ocean, where the waves carried the body away. The man rushed to move to Manila, not risking any more chances. Social constructs were intensified as a whole other story of an ukoy was spread. Schools of these sea creatures, similar to a merman, would get together and gathered in the waters of Colon. They could be seen in broad daylight as a resident laid eyes on one. Right after he got up from the water, he locked eyes with the ukoy that was calmly sitting on one of the rocks. Whether people would agree or not, everything from the livelihoods and interactions has changed to accommodate the presence of enchantment in the barangay. From down the oceans to up the mountains and forests, and even in swarming residential areas, the behavior of the people was, is, and will always be immeasurably affected to avoid any slight possibility of encountering these infamous creatures.
A mythical creature is a creature from mythology or folklore, often known as fabulous creatures in historical literature. Many mythical creatures have supernatural powers, some good, some evil, that even in contemporary times have no physical explanation. They have been part of human culture throughout the ages and across all parts of the world. One day, a boy, together with his favorite baseball bat, ran through the woods to find his pet. After a few minutes, he discovered a giant tree, which makes him wonder why there's an opening part. He then pat the tree with his baseball bat with an angry face because he can't find his pet. He heard a loud voice from inside. He hurriedly moved away from the tree, and then suddenly a creature appeared. The boy was so scared, which made him go back home.
Fiesta, a word that sounds fun. Not only it is about the fun, but it is also all about the spiritual celebration of San Vicente Ferrer. Sadly, because of the pandemic, they are forced to stay at home, and as a result, the fiesta was not celebrated at its full potential. We can't call it a fiesta without the people having fun. Before they celebrate the fiesta on May 28th, there will be a novena for 9 days. In preparation for the fiesta, there will be fun activities such as Parents' Night, Basketball Liga, Purok Night, singing and dance contest, pageant, and variety show. And the day of the fiesta, there will be ballrooms and disco. It is really mind-blowing how a simple tradition becomes a fiesta and improved as time passed by. And we don't know what they will add in the future. Before it was named Fiesta, the family of Alforques started it as a Santa Cruzan. And as the time passes by, it becomes tradition, then a fiesta.
Barangay Colon, City of Naga, has various organizations such as Senior Citizen Organization, Barangay Anti-Drug Abuse Council, and health-related organizations. This February 2021, amidst the pandemic, the City of Naga Barangays implemented a vaccination for kids 0 to 5 years old with the theme of Chikiting Ligtas sa Dugang nga Bakuna, Batok, Rubella, Polio, ug Tipdas. The vaccination will start at February 1 and will end on February 28. And to avoid the parents' fear that they might get the COVID-19 virus, barangay officials ensured that the people must follow the safety protocols while the vaccination is going on.
Every year in Colon, there were a group of people who gives ayuda to the less fortunate in every sitio. They gather a group of people for a Bible study. They did not only receive food, but they also received Christ through their words of enlightenment that would strengthen their faith in Him. They always celebrated their fiestas, Lent, Easter, Christmas, and New Year's with a Mass. Colonanons in good and bad times never forget their faith. It is also through these celebrations that we see the residents share good tidings. Their Capitan, who is very considerate to his people, works always with a teamwork. Having a very kind barangay officials and owners of plantas, Colonanons consider themselves blessed.